name is Austin Lee, and I'll be the host for this March Madness selection show.
I'm Hayden Wimmonty, and I'll be covering the West region.
I'm David Millick, and I'll be covering the South region.
I'm Sam Hilliard, and I'll be previewing the Midwest region.
I'm Cameron Wood, and I'll cover the East region.
Hello. My name is Austin Lee, and I'll be hosting this CBSN March Madness selection show. I'm here with my colleagues Hayden Wimmonty, we have David Midlick, we have Sam Hilliard, and we have Cameron Woods. Now, we're going to get into sleepers. Everybody has some, and I'm going to start with Hayden to my right. Let's hear yours.
All right, I'm Hayden Wimmonty, and I'm covering the West region. And although North Carolina earned a 4 seed, that typically isn't a sleeper, I feel like they are definitely a sleeper right now. They've been up and down all season, and they have some real talent in J.P. Tokido and Marcus Page. And they played Duke to a 2-point game in overtime, but then they've also lost to Louisville by 10. So I feel like if they play as well as they can make some upsets.
Definitely have talent.
That Louisville game, I watched that one very close. What's yours?
All right, I'm Dave Millick, and I'm covering the South. And now my sleeper is a very unlikely choice. It is number 10 Davidson, and in the first round they played number 7 Iowa. Davidson is from the Atlantic 10. They lost in their conference championship. They scored a 24-7 record, but they are 6th in the NCAA in points per game at 79.9, and 3rd in the NCAA in assists per game at 17.2. And I believe they're going to beat Iowa because Iowa is not the greatest defensive team, but Iowa has played a tougher schedule than Davidson, but I believe Iowa can overcome that with their offense.
Wow.
I would have to agree on that. Gonzaga's probably the most overrated 2 seed, but
we'll
see what happens.
I agree with that.
All right. Well, I got the Midwest region, and if there's a sleeper to be any, I don't know who you would pick because the number 1 overall seed is Kentucky out of that region. But if I'd had to pick one, I'd have to go with Notre Dame. The winners of the ACC conference beat Hayden's sleeper North Carolina in the championship game.
They also took down number 2 seed Virginia also.
Exactly, and they are red hot right now, coming out of the ACC with a bunch of competition, Virginia, Duke, North Carolina, Louisville. So coming out of the ACC is a pretty special thing to do, and I think their shooting can disrupt Kentucky if they meet up in the Sweet 16, or Elite 8, excuse me, and may have a chance to knock off the champs, but Kentucky's my clear favorite. That would be my sleeper.
I don't think that's going to happen at all. Cameron?
All right, so I'll be covering the East region, and this is probably considered the weakest bracket of them all.
Yeah.
But if I do have to pick a sleeper, I'd have to go with Northern Iowa. Now, a lot of people will say that's.
I love that.
Now, if we remember to a couple years ago when they were at 8th seed and Ali Farouk Manesh helped them to defeat Kansas, and they went on a Sweet 16 run.
A nice
So
one.
I think, and this team, everybody is saying that this Northern Iowa team is more talented than they were a few years ago. So be on the lookout for them.
Well, aren't they 30-3 on the season?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have an extremely good record.
That was very
I like the matchup against Louisville in the second round.
That was
Without Chris
very
Jones,
Oh yeah.
I think they have a really good chance to beat Louisville.
All right, now we're done with sleeper. What's your favorite in the region that's coming up?
Well, in the West, I'm obviously going to have to go with Wisconsin with Frank Kaminsky, the Player of the Year, and then he's great on both sides. And they also have Nigel Hayes and Sam Decker to go along with them. They're all 3 averaging double-digit points per game. Great on the offensive side of the ball. That's going to have to be my favorite in the West region.
Right.
In the South region, it's got to be Duke. One thing in the toughest conference in college basketball, the ACC, they've been able to win on the road. They did have a few hiccups, 2 losses in a row early in the season, one of them to NC State and one of them to Miami, I believe.
Lost at home actually to Miami.
That is right. Now that was a tough blow, but they rebounded well, went on a very large winning streak. Jaleel Okafor has been playing better than ever. He's a Wooden Award candidate along with Kaminsky. I just think there's no one who can stop him until the Final Four.
I like that. That's a number 1 prospect in the NBA draft right now.
It really is.
Talking about number 1 prospects, I think Kentucky has a handful, and that's clearly my favorite to come out of the Midwest.
There's Holly Stein.
There's really nothing else to say about it. They run platoons. Platoons. They don't sub. They run platoons. Carl Anthony Towns, Willie Cauley-Stein.
You got the Harrison twins.
Harrison twins, yeah. They always come up.
The record speaks for itself. 34-0. Kentucky clearly to come out of that region and win the tournament, in my opinion.
But they did avoid 2 scares in the SEC, especially their LSU by 2 points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to play any of those teams in that region, though, so I think they should be fine.
That would be very close.
All right, so in the East region, as I said, it's one of the weaker brackets. So there are a couple teams I'm going to actually keep an eye on.
Right.
Like I said, Northern Iowa earlier, I think that if they can get past Villanova, they have a chance to go really deep in the tournament. On the bottom side of the bracket, you have Michigan State.
Yeah.
And Coach Tom Izzo, one of the best college coaches of all time, really has them playing their best basketball of the year. I think they had a tough loss in the Big Ten Finals to a really good Wisconsin team. But I think he can use that momentum that they built in the Big Ten tournament to possibly surprise some people. In the second round, they would probably end up matching up against Virginia. But I think they have underperformed a little bit this year, but definitely keep your eye on them.
So you're not picking either Virginia or Villanova?
I really don't think, honestly, Villanova, their conference isn't necessarily the strongest. They stayed in the very broken down Big East. That conference isn't as strong as it used to be. And Virginia is really not what it was last year. I think if Virginia's last year team was playing in this tournament, they would probably have a way better shot, especially if they're in the same region.
And Anderson, their best scorer, has been hurt. He just returned from the conference
Yeah,
championship.
so he's a little,
And
he'll probably be a little rusty.
I'm gonna say Virginia is better than they were last year.
You know, some would say that, but
You're the host. You don't get much say.
Hey, I know my basketball, okay?
All right, so, but if I do have to pick one team, I think once Michigan State gets past Virginia, they start to really build momentum, and I think there could be a possible matchup from Northern Iowa and Michigan State in the Elite Eight, and that'd be really interesting to watch.
All right.
All right, let's stay with Cameron Woods. What's a game to watch in that region?
All right, so the game to watch, you know, a lot of people think that seeding has to do with how good a game is, but I think the 8-9 matchup of NC State versus LSU is going to be really entertaining. Personally, in my bracket, I had a lot of trouble picking this game. NC State's been a lot of close games. They've played a lot of, since they're in the ACC, they've seen a lot of really good competition. But on the other side, you have LSU, who gave Kentucky a heck of a scare this year. So I think both teams have showed that they're capable against top competition. But in that game, I'm going to have to give the edge to NC State.
Okay, all right. Well, what you got, Sam?
All right, well, mine's not necessarily a first-round game, but a potential game is Kansas and Wichita State in the round of 32. Kansas, rumor has it they don't want to schedule Wichita State in the regular season, so look for Wichita to come out and, you know, have a little chip on their shoulder, too.
That's a little fire.
Exactly. So, I mean, look them to come out with a little chip on their shoulder, like I said. Ron Baker, the senior, and Fran Vliet, the junior, led them to a Final Four 2 years ago, so, you know, Cliff Alexander, Kansas, maybe look out for that one.
Shout out to our boy Blake Harwell. This big Kansas fan over here. I like it.
Picking Wichita for the other day, so probably
What
not
you
happening.
got, David?
All right, my game to watch includes my sleeper that I mentioned earlier, number 10 Davidson. They're matched up against number 7 Iowa. I believe this game will determine the pace for the bottom side of the South bracket because the winner of this game will end up facing the winner of the Gonzaga and their 16th seed. Now, Gonzaga is very strong, but I believe in college basketball now it's all about offense. If you can generate enough offense, you can give yourself a chance. And I think whoever wins this game will likely be high scoring, and we'll see who out there is probably facing Gonzaga. So number 7-10 matchup of Iowa and Davidson is my game to watch.
I have no disagreements on that one. What you got, Wood?
My game to watch is also like Sam's. It'll be farther down the road, and it'll actually be a Elite Eight matchup. If anyone remembers the tournament last year, Arizona, number 1 seed versus Wisconsin, number 2 seed. Frank Kaminsky was still on the Wisconsin team, and he lit up Arizona for 28 points, and they ended up upsetting Arizona in overtime.
Right.
So my game to watch will be a rematch of Wisconsin versus Arizona in the Elite Eight.
So what Arizona on that one? They got Stanley Johnson now.
Yeah.
Big time player, came in very, very good for Arizona at the second half of the season. I believe.
Although I predicted Wisconsin to be upset by North Carolina, who could be hot or cold, I feel like that's definitely going to be a good game if that happens.
All right. So now that we got the regional play, give me you guys Final Four.
I'm gonna get.
What you got, Hayden? What you got?
I'm gonna actually go with all 1 seeds and 1 2 seed. I'm gonna go with Duke, Virginia, Kentucky, and Wisconsin.
All right.
And
Very strong.
And that's the exact same as my Final Four. I don't think anybody can stop Kentucky in their bracket. I think Wisconsin, no one can stop them. Virginia, I just think they may not be able to score a lot of times, but I think the defense might get them through. And Duke, I think they're so skilled. I just don't think Gonzaga can hang with them the entire game.
I agree with you on the Virginia. I think they can shut down Villanova, who's played in kind of a weak conference,
Exactly.
like Cameron said.
Exactly.
I think Virginia's defense will shut them down.
All right, my Final Four is a little different from theirs. I have Kentucky clearly as my favorite to make the Final Four and win it all. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious. But out of the West, I'm going to pick Arizona. beat Wisconsin, get a little revenge in that game.
All right.
Now, this is it right here. The East, I have Northern Iowa coming out of the East.
Okay.
And Iowa State coming out of the South.
All right. Okay.
Oh my God.
We've got a. Okay, that's an interesting. But I think everybody around school has been talking about my Final Four. Everybody's seen my bracket.
Okay.
They've talked a lot of bad about
Be
it.
prepared.
Out of the Midwest, we got Kentucky. Out of the West, we have Wisconsin.
Okay.
Out of the East, my bracket, I have Villanova actually. In the South bracket, I think a very unseen team, the 6th seed SMU. Everybody before
Larry Brown,
I think Larry Brown and his coaching experience, if he can get them to win the first 2 games, and you get to the second weekend, this is called March Madness. There is a chance that they are able to build on the momentum from the first weekend and capitalize and get to the Final Four.
And you are right; they are separated from the heavy hitters, the 1 and 2. They're right in the middle of that bracket. So maybe if they can win a game, they can get through. But unlikely, in my mind.
I was the number one proponent, a person who said he was crazy for that SMU pick. But anyways, give me an upset alert.
Okay, all right. My upset is going to be in the very first round, and it's somewhat of an upset. I have Cam's Ohio State Buckeyes over Virginia Commonwealth.
Oh.
And the reason I picked that is D'Angelo Russell, who's one of the top freshmen in the country. Ohio State is ranked 29th on the offensive side of the ball, and VCU's defense is ranked 23rd. But I think Ohio State just has a lot of offensive weapons and can come out and upset the Rams, who've made a Final Four and Elite Eight appearance in the last few years.
That's not really, I mean, 10-7, I guess it's an
Yeah,
upset.
I think,
but,
and on that, D'Angelo Russell, it's really going to require him to get hot because that's really determined Ohio State's season so far, whether or not D'Angelo Russell has a good offensive game. So, David, who you got?
Being quick here, I believe that I don't have a upset in particular specific, but I think someone's going to upset Gonzaga before they possibly meet with Duke. Someone's going to get them. I don't think Duke is going to be the one to beat Gonzaga. I think it'll be somebody earlier.
What you got, Sam?
All right, in my Midwest, everybody likes that 11-6 upset or that 12-5 upset. In my region, Texas over Butler's a favorite. Buffalo over West Virginia's a favorite. But I'm going to go with 13-seed Valpo over Maryland in the first round. Bryce Drew coming back, coaching them. He hit that buzzer beater against Ole Miss years ago. He's leading them this year, 28-5. Watch them to upset Maryland in the first round.
What you got, Cam?
All right, so in this one, it's a very interesting matchup, actually. You've got Louisville versus UC Irvine. Everybody has been talking about UC Irvine's center, who is 7'6". And I think that size is going to be a little bit of trouble for Montrezl Harrell. The determining factor in that is going to be whether or not the rest of the team can come together and help out the big man.
All right, so Cam, what's the champion? Who's winning it all?
One word.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Wisconsin.
I'm going to have to go with the Cats. Can't argue with it.
They can't even argue
Get
with
you
it.
guys.
You really
Thank you for joining us on this very special occasion where we just had a very great conversation with the March Madness Selection Show. Let's go with Hayden Wilmsey, David Midlick, Sam Hilliard, Cameron Wood, and we're out.